yes.
Heal fast before you get married. There are people who hold on too long. If they don't deal with it before you get married, when you get into marriage, when you touch that lady, she's going to scream.
Yeah. Before even they give you a date, giving you a date, it's a struggle for themselves. I have allowed myself to see I can love you.
The template for marriage is what God says about marriage.
Yes.
It is not how our marriage is,
no.
Our pastor's marriage,
no.
Our parents' marriages. The template for marriage is what God says about marriage. So, hey babe.
Hey sasa.
Poa.
Fiti.
Mambo.
Ni fiti.
Poa.
Kabisa. People.
Yeah. And they're loving this as we are.
Yes, we enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, we're enjoying. It's amazing. Yeah, I never thought that I would be here talking about the people who know me, wanajua like I am a very private person. I keep things to myself. I never thought that I would be here, with my husband, my person, talking about love and all this. But I'm loving the journey. It's amazing to also, the things that God do for us, and we're not here just because of us.
No.
We've learned from other people. As you said when you were talking about the 3 wise men, the 3 men who helped you even in your thought process.
Yes.
If you did not have those men, maybe the decision would have taken more time. We would have arrived here because it was God's will, but it would have probably taken longer to arrive at the decision. And today we're talking about the decision to love. I loved the things you were saying last time. And I am glad because this is touching the lives of young people. It is touching the lives of people who've tried. Like we did. They've tried before, but they did not make it, or they tried before, they failed, probably went all the way to engagement, the traditional introductions, but the relationships, did not work. Why does this happen? And we will see all this even as we continue with our conversation. And let's go back to the topic, the decision to love. So you have decided, and you were saying, and what I heard you say was that you know that you love a person because of what you're feeling towards them. You know you love this person because you have decided to love this person. Sure. That's what you were saying.
That's what we're saying. Yeah. Because you see, even as we were saying it, that once you have done the first date and you saw what at the first date, this person is kind, she was polite, she was patient with all that, our first sitting, and then you analyze and you say, is she lovable? And you don't love what love is. The Bible says about love. Love is all that. Is kind, is patient, is long-suffering, doesn't keep a record of wrongs. All that you can then know that there's love in them. Then you ask yourself, can I tap it? This is after the first date. Can I tap into this love? Is it something to pursue? Do I want to pursue after it? And so this separates the immature to the mature. The immature would do what we were saying, would take a number from behind your back of another lady seated in the next table, and they'll do it consistently with even this. Another one will come, a third one, and they'll do the same. They'll continue. That brings immaturity. That speaks of a mature man. But the mature man will analyze intentionally, analyze this lady they're meeting in the first meeting, and now. The first meeting now, as that informs informs either what they had expected. Remember most people go to dates with an expectation. Probably was his expectation met? And if it was met, then why not then tap into the love that this lady is carrying? And they did not. When they get to that point and they say, yes, she's lovable, let me tap into it.
So what is tap? What do you mean?
To tap means simply draw it out. Draw it out.
Okay.
Draw it out. I love it when the Bible says talks about cisterns.
Ah,
do I to talk also in the same manner? Is she deep with love? Is
Is it a
she aware?
cistern that
Is she
you
a
would want to
cistern
draw from?
Yes, and that's where the love is lying. Yeah. So, would you want? You're asking yourself: can I pursue her? Do I want to pursue after what I saw? Is it because she met my expectation? Then do I want to pursue? And that's where now the drop of a seed has been dropped into your soil, of your heart, or of the environment.
Yeah.
And the environment which you guys are creating, which is the environment of friendship and all that, there's something which will start growing from there. Yeah. And so now that was informed by a decision, not for a feeling.
That was informed by a decision.
Not a feeling.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
The feeling will follow later, when the oneness now starts working through. The feeling is to follow later the decision you made. So you decide. Yeah, we said 30th. Am I still texting and telling her your 30th is almost here? Choose your best place. Please choose your best clothes, the clothes that you want to dress in. Yet actually you're pursuing.
Yeah.
And these are decisions which you're following after the decision, and you're actually put the decision into action. And that's where you find now it unfolds. Now after the second, you go for the second date, and now you learn more. Now you have come in serious conversation.
Yes.
And she's answering, and even as she's asking.
Yeah.
And now you're finding that now
there's mutual pursuit.
Yes, there's mutual pursuit. Thank you. There's mutual pursuit.
Yeah.
There's even mutual similar is it likings or interests? And then you're finding, then it's true when it says can two work together
unless they agree. So do your mindsets
They
agree?
agree. Yeah.
So when you were speaking about what the definition of love, as in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, love is kind, love is patient. And when you mentioned love does not keep a record of wrong, I thought about a woman coming into this relationship with past hurts. This person, yes, they have everything else you're talking about, but they have kept a record of wrongs because of the things that have happened in the past.
Yeah.
We've had this statement go around, hurt people.
Yes.
So this person has come with wounds and they're still bleeding.
Yes.
You've decided to love this person, but you've noticed some blood leaking from past wounds, past hurts, and they are still holding on to what they did to me, what the people I loved, how they neglected me, how the past relationship turned out. How do you deal with that person? Do you help them to heal, to deal with this fast so that we can now walk together? Or do you agree to walk together as they are healing? How do you help a person who is bleeding, a person who is hurt? Because I've seen relationships breaking because two wounded people came together, agreed to take a walk, but it was too bloody.
Yes.
It was too bloody.
Yes.
This person was too hurt.
Yes.
They kept that record. Everything else for them is okay. Like their values, what they are for, their spirituality, what they believe in, their beliefs. They are submitted to a pastor. They serve in the church. They're timekeepers. There are no red flags. And they have a vision, But they're bleeding from what happened to them in the past, especially women. You will find a big percentage of women out here have been taken advantage of at one point, even if it's just touch. Even that touch as a child, as a young girl, that touch. I've shared my story on my YouTube channel of how I was molested by our house help, and I carried that. But by the time we were meeting, me and you, I had already dealt with it. But you find there are people out there who are still bleeding. So when you realize this at the beginning, how do you help?
I hear you. Because you see, then that question is asked, how soon is soon? How soon should you move on?
From that point.
From the last one. From the last
from the last relationship.
How soon should you move on? Yeah, and so you find it's a question to answer. Because you see, you might transfer exactly what you had into this new one.
Yes.
From the old relationship to this new one.
Yeah.
So how soon should you pursue? And remember, let me try and think about what an institution of marriage should be like.
Yeah.
The institution of a marriage should be actually like a place for healing.
You think?
I think so. I should think so. Why I'm saying that? Because the hurting should not just come from a previous relationship. It can even come from relationships are different. Not just a man and a woman. Yours was yours and your family domestic worker. Therefore, it could dictate that it could have been a month ago. Yet you're of age, you're 40 years old. It could have been dated, it was a month ago.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? Do we mean give you another 10 years for you to heal? You'll be 50. I mean, you see.
Then you're not going to wait for 10 years.
At 50, who was waiting for you until you're 50?
Yeah, exactly.
So therefore, marriage, I think God is faithful. And that's why it's his institution.
Yeah.
He knows a man will come and a woman both having their all 32 teeth.
Yeah.
Coming from, I'm talking about a life, they all have a life they've come from. So what should marriage be? It should answer that question. It should be a place of healing. It should be a place like a clinic. It should be a place where then you find you're hurting either from a strong point or a weak point that you carry. Like for me, my last marriage was from my weak points. It was a separation because of my weak points.
Yeah.
Where even as I was telling, I was remembering, my late wife kept saying I was not aggressive enough, ambitious enough, and she kept saying it. You're not ambitious. Is that a weakness to me or is it a strong point? To me, that's to her that was a weakness. To me, it didn't have to be a weakness.
Yeah.
But it was a weakness. Let's say that marriage was a weakness according to her.
Yeah.
So is that heart that you enter? I'm coming now. We got married with you, and now I'm here with you. Did that dispel that now become aggressive? Does that spell now become ambitious? Therefore, now if that heart was there because of that ambition, then in this new marriage, now in me and you, what is your strong points addressing this weak point of mine?
Okay.
How is it addressing my weak point? So you find,
but it needs to be. You need to think about it this way. Have I identified
that was a weak point to me?
In this marriage, am I seeing that as a weakness? Have I identified it as a weakness?
Yes.
Or because it was about 2 to 3 years before we got married after she passed on. Have you worked on that? Have I picked it? Have I told you that you're not aggressive enough? For me, when I look at you, if there are any weaknesses that I have identified, none of those come out for me.
Yes.
Like I've not seen. I mean, I think you are aggressive.
Yes.
I think you are, especially sales. I think you're the best salesman I have ever seen.
So that means the conducive environment now happened, because it's even the where I'm working now is a new job. that it was not in the
Was
previous
not in
marriage.
the previous marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So was there a right catalyst? I also know how you encourage me every morning.
Yeah.
How you pray over me.
Yeah.
How you I come and tell you it was crazy today. You tell me it's gonna be okay. You quote for me the scripture that the Lord has maintained my lot.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah.
Then the right environment is available.
Yeah.
Which was not before. There was no right environment. You see, the previous marriage was about. It was pointing at me. It was a complaining point that you're not, not telling me, not using that point to tell me, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. You can try this and this. There's no such a conducive environment. But now that you're providing that conducive environment, and even as a right is also to say that from my heart, from my heart, from my previous marriages. Have I identified, and that's what I was saying, is it a month ago? Is it 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Then that will inform, have you learned from it?
Yeah.
I really learned from mine. I stopped having my finger pointed out as I turned it to myself.
Yeah.
And from there I got a lot of healing. Yes, I understood why we had a separation. And I understood my part in that separation. Initially, when you found me earlier on, I had a lot to talk about her flaws. But with time, I ended up turning the finger towards myself. What have I done? What was my play in that separation?
Yeah.
So that informs it. But you see, it could have been a month ago.
Yeah. So how soon is that hurt? And also, what is this person doing in order to get the healing? And so let me go back to what you're saying. You're saying that marriage, healing can come in marriage.
Yes.
But I want to go back to that hurt again. Because I'm thinking the right way should be heal first before you get married.
Okay.
Yeah, because in some circumstances, it is better to deal with that wound, deal with those pains, because there are people who hold on too long. Maybe this hurt, okay, let's say it happened a year ago. Is there progressive healing, or are you still stuck? So it is good to stay on that. Okay, let me bring up an example. When we were talking, even during dating, and we were sharing a lot, and I told you there's a time I was really, and I've mentioned this before, there are times I was low, there are times I was desperate, there are times I was angry, there are times I was numb, and the time let me talk about the period where I was numb. The period where I was numb is the period where, things were so hard for me. I kept sane by drinking. Holy Ghost filled. But things were just, crazy for me. And I felt so overwhelmed. And I kept sane by drinking. I would go into the supermarket, Nakumat by then, and I would get my 2-3 bottles of wine or a few green bottles, bring them home, have them in the fridge. After I've put by then it was only Jay, after she has gone to sleep, I would just sit down, switch off the lights, have the TV on 0 volume for the light. And then just in darkness, only the light of the TV lighting the room. And I would drink the whole bottle. And that is how I dealt. That is how I dealt with the separation. Because by this time, what's happening in my life is that my husband has gone abroad, right? And he is not talking to me anymore. He is not picking my calls. I send messages. He is not responding. Sometimes he would answer the phone and he would tell me, oh, I am with so-and-so. And this so-and-so was my roommate in Dubai. He is in Dubai and he's with my roommate and in her house cooking. And I'm like, the two of you, what are you doing? So when I started questioning, that is when he was like, you know what? I'm not going to answer your calls. So even my voice notes would not be responded to. So I didn't know what to do. And so I turned to, and I didn't want to talk to people about it because I'm like, I did not want, sometimes I find it so hard to, you just going to people, because what are they going to do about it? You go tell someone that my husband is not talking to me, he's not calling me, he's not answering my calls. So what are they going to do about it? Nothing. You know, I tried even talking to the family and stuff, but I did not get any help. So I felt like I was hopeless. And to numb this pain, to try and calm myself, I would just drink. Yeah, I would drink. And so I had this heart for a period. And even when we are getting to meet and talk, I bring this up. And you asked me, what happens today if you're stressed? What do you do today? Like you started bringing it into the present, because I was telling you what I used to go through. And you started asking me, what do you do in the present when you're stressed? Because it's not like circumstances changed. No, they did not change. When we were meeting now, the divorce was being almost finalized. I was just waiting for the decree nisi. And by then, now you're asking me, what do you do today when you're stressed? What do you do today when you have issues? And I told you, like at my work, being in the hospitality industry in a top position, whereas you can drink or eat anything. Like I have the keys to the store. But you don't, I don't even exactly, even when I go to issue drinks to the staff, I don't see vodka as vodka. I see it as stock. Those bottles of wine, like I knew all of them, how they taste. Like I can describe to you a Mellow, a nice Chardonnay, all that, you know. Yeah, and how crisp and, you know, all that. Yeah, I can talk about it. But when I looked at those bottles, I saw stock. Yeah. Even if I was stressed, even if I was totally delivered and set free. I had already dealt with that, and the Lord had helped me to move on. And so it was progressive, but finally I arrived at healing. If I would have still come with the same heart or the same issues having not resolved into this marriage, when we are stressed, when we have issues, I will just leave, get my bottle, because that's where I go.
That would have been the direction.
That would have been the direction. So this person who is coming in, having gone through, say, rape, if they don't deal with it before you get married, when you get into marriage, when you touch that lady, she's going to scream. Yes. Because your touch reminds her of the other person who touched her. So there are traumas that we need to deal with before we get into marriage. And that's why even in dating, there has to be total transparency.
Yes.
Total transparency.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to share your heart. Don't be afraid to share where you're bleeding, so that you can deal with it before you get married.
But you see, you're right, baby. Yet it's unfortunate. What of the person who does not want to talk about it? To them, they're broken to a point where they've said, yes, I can talk about it.
Do you not think that's going to be a problem?
Yes,
an issue in the
problem,
marriage.
Yes.
So what do you do with that person?
Everything
else is okay.
Remember, there's patience. It's supposed to be applied, both from the man as well and from the woman. Can I be patient that one day, as everything responds to love. Love is so important. It cannot be ignored. It's a principal thing. I love unto you pretty well. Very soon it will break that nut and you'll open up. Regardless of regardless of how long it will take, one day you'll open up.
So the decision to love this person
Yes.
should inform you.
Yes.
So if you have decided to to love this person,
With all that.
With all their wounds.
Yes, their wounds. Yeah. So you've decided you've seen that they can be. You saw the kindness of their patience and how they handled you're picking up the menu, how they were kind to the waiter, and to the, even if you're using a bus, to the conductor, the driver. If you're using Uber, how she was kind to Amahi, or she was kind to the driver. You'll see all that, and then you can tell this person has capacity to, there's love in her or in him. Then now you make the decision to pursue after that. Then now the second date is now these things will come up. Remember, if somebody's hurt, baby, let's think about somebody's hurt.
Yeah.
Before even they give you a date, I mean, this person giving you a date, it's a struggle for themselves. They don't know if you're gonna treat them the same.
They're probably struggling with trust.
Yeah,
because of past
trust. Their main issue.
Yeah.
What if they give it? Let's say they give you the first date, and the first date they are like, okay, not so bad. Can I try in the second date? You come the second date, and you build up on that, and she says, oh, this is doable. Still, the heart is in her. She's not even spoken about it, but she's seen, this is a different kind of person. I can have my life with them. Not even, okay, forget about not yet getting there yet, that they can have their life with you, but they're still trying to see. And so until one day they can tell, it will progress that way as you continue allowing them to be themselves, allowing them to express themselves, allowing them even sometimes to be silent on some issues. But as the person who's pursuing, don't shy off from asking questions. Don't now even you sit back and say, since it seems that they don't want to talk about so much of this, and not ask questions. Ask them.
Yeah.
If she tells you don't talk about it, be patient with that. Yes, she don't talk about it. They don't talk about it. Let's be patient. Let's move to another topic. Let's keep building. Rome was not built in a day. Yeah. That's what they say. Eventually, with the dates and with the opening up, so that you give yourself time, and give them also time. With time, they might even say, okay, they'll get crucial now. They get critical to the point of asking, what do you want with me? Why you showing me being kind to me this much? What do you want with me? Then that's where you open up and tell them, I don't want to have my life with you. And I think I have allowed myself to see I can love you. Yeah. And so then love matters.
Love matters.
Love matters.
So love matters when it comes to marriage.
It matters. Yeah. So you'll answer that. I've seen I want to pursue to see I will to show to see whether I will love you. I'm pursuing that thought that I can love you.
So do we marry from love, or we marry into love? Or we marry because we have decided to love?
So I'd say we marry into. Yeah. Okay, from love, yes. It's from what you have decided. So it is growing. Remember it was a seed from the first date.
Yeah.
And every time you leave a second date, you leave a third date, from the fourth date, from the fifth date, every time you leave that date, it grows another height. That tree, the love tree grows another height. And they can feel it. Regardless of if you tell them you love them or not. They can feel it. They can feel this guy is not taking advantage of me.
Yeah.
He's not trying to be hoodwink me. He's being honest. This guy, even as I look at him, and of course she'll also find it from your friends.
Yeah.
If you've introduced her to your friends or him to your friends, she'll find it. He'll find it from your friends that this is the kind of guy he is. He's not pretending, and you can tell after the sixth date or the fifth date, you can tell this guy are they taking me for a ride? You can tell there's something they're playing here, and you can tell. You can pinpoint it. But if you can tell they're honest, then it should the question, we want to be with you for marriage. Then that will take another tick, another button. It will press another button. Marriage, just coming from the one chose heart from.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. Give me time. Accept to take that time. I know about my pastor friend who was given 4 years, maybe. The wife told him, I have to go to school. Yes. 4 years. 4 good years.
What?
Without even dating. They didn't do dates in the 4 years. He was told, you want to get married to me? I have to go to school. I have 4 years to study. Ugoje. So he is not dating. They're not dating. So they're in the same church and they're in the same ministry of worship. Then he sees some guy attempting. So he has to go back and check again with her. Do you remember we talked? And the girl will tell her, I told you 4 years. Then now he relaxes. He knows, so she's
so a man
in
can
her
wait
mind.
for 4 years.
He waited for 4 years without dating.
Did he see other ladies?
He did not.
He just waited
He was
for
sure
that
he wanted that one, yes. And when he checks with her, she keeps reminding him, it took him 4 years. They're not over yet. So he was comfortable.
So what happened when the 4 years were over?
And she said, no, I'm ready. You remember what you told me? She's going to call him. Remember? Yeah, you remember what you told me about the 4 years in Maisha? Can we pursue?
Wow.
Yes, that's how they started.
How many years are they married?
No, I think they have grown up children. I think there should be in their 20 plus. Yes.
In marriage, 20 years plus?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Marriages are different.
Yeah.
Every story is different.
Yeah.
There's not the template for marriage is what God says about marriage.
Yes.
It is not how our marriage is.
No.
It is not the president's marriage, our pastor's marriage, our parents' marriages. The template for marriage is what God says about marriage. Amen. So what does God say about marriage? That is what we go with.
Yes.
Well, there's something we talked about, and let's talk about it on the next episode. Do you marry because of love or because of purpose? So there is purpose here, and there is companionship, and there is love. So there is love, there is purpose, there is companionship. What's that one reason, or what's that one thing that is more powerful than the other? Purpose, companionship, love. Which one outweighs the other? Let's talk about that when we come on the next episode. Yes. Yeah, because I think this is important. Yes. We cannot ignore purpose.
No, we cannot.
Yeah, we cannot ignore that part of companionship, and we cannot ignore love, as you have rightly put it. I mean, I love what you were saying. I really do. That, once you decide to love this person, then you pursue them regardless. And it is so amazing. Let's come back on the next one. Thank you, people.
Thank you. See you guys.
See you. Bye.
Bye.